Well, if you watch broadcast TV in the evening, you're probably used to a familiar pattern. The news ends at 7 o'clock, a couple of syndicated programs get you to 8, and that's when the primetime lineups run until the local news at 11. That's the way all of the big three networks have operated for a long time. But we're in a changing time right now for TV amid all of the streaming service wars. And so we have headlines like this one from the New York Times, which reports that NBC could ditch that 10 p.m. primetime hour and give it back to its affiliates, like here at Channel 2. This fall's TV lineup on NBC is already set, so nothing is changing right away, but it is certainly sparking plenty of conversation about what could come. Let's talk about that now with Bob Thompson, who joins us live. He is director of the Blyer Center for Television and Popular Culture at Syracuse University, where he's also a trustee professor at the Newhouse School of Public Communication. It's great to have you on the show, sir. We really appreciate it. And as we said there, the rhythms of evening network television have been set in stone for so long. What do you make of the possibility that we could see this pretty radical change coming perhaps next year?
Yeah, I think this could be a pretty big deal. Now, we shouldn't too much overemphasize. This isn't the first time this has happened. Primetime used to start at 7:30, right up until the early 70s. If you remember some shows, well, you probably don't remember, but Get Smart, I Dream of Jeannie, The Flying Nun, those were all 7:30 shows, and they ceded that half hour back to the networks in the very beginning of the 1970s. But now, after all this time, to take a full chunk, 1/3 of their entire prime time, and give it away. And by the way, 10 o'clock, where NBC especially has done some of the most groundbreaking shows of all time. Hill Street Blues was a 10 o'clock show. NYPD Blue was a 10 o'clock show. ER was a 10 o'clock show. It's really almost seems to be, if they end up doing this, an acknowledgement that that kind of scripted programming is really what they're leaving to premium cable and streaming to do, and they're going to spend their money, and lots of it, on things like rights for sporting events.
Professor, we obviously, this isn't official even yet, so we have no idea what's going to change here at Channel 2, but local stations like ours would feel a big impact from this. I mean, there are lots of possibilities out there. Would we do, local news at 10 o'clock? How do you see this impacting, the affiliates, 200 plus of them all over the country?
Well, a lot of affiliates would probably do what they do with the 7 o'clock hour, which means 10 o'clock would roll around and you'd have reruns of Big Bang Theory and 2.5 Men or that kind of thing. However, there's also a lot of talk that local news would take over that complete hour, which a lot of affiliate stations would like. They get to sell all the commercials. They'd have an earlier start, a full hour earlier, a potentially bigger audience. And then there's talk that actually the network, NBC, could start its late night shows a half hour earlier, which could benefit them as well. 10 o'clock prime time period for an hour of good, solid local news could be really good for the communities in which that's how the solution is done. Whether that'll happen or not is, we of course got to wait and see.
On a different but obviously related note, when you talk about streaming, and a lot of our viewers, our daytime viewers, are talking about this, after 57 years and more than 4,000 episodes, Days of Our Lives is leaving broadcast television. So this is as of next Friday. Our viewers will not see it here on Channel 2 anymore. It's moving to Peacock, where you'll have to have a paid subscription to see it, although they are doing kind of a discounted rate if you sign up quickly, I think about $2 a month. The show will debut there September 12th. I know, again, our viewers have a lot of questions about this. Some people are concerned about it. That's the decision that's been made. And do you see that as another sign of just migrating some things to these streaming platforms and how it's changing over-the-air TV?
First of all, yes, we're seeing so much stuff now that's going directly to streaming. HBO Max, that's not on HBO, stuff going straight to Peacock, straight to Paramount, as opposed to CBS. So yes, that's already happening. I suppose those people who are upset that Days of Our Lives, as you point out, nearly 6 decades long that's been going, if they're upset about that moving to Peacock, I guess the silver lining is they're lucky it survived at all. Back in the peak of the soap opera, the 1969-1970 season, there were 19 soap operas on 3 networks, 19 soap operas on ABC, CBS, and NBC. There will now be 3 once Days of Our Lives moves to Peacock. So the writing has been on the wall for the daytime soap opera at all. If moving it to Peacock is a way of saving one of these, I suppose it's better than having it disappear entirely. However, I think their contract is only through the 2022-2023 or maybe 2024 season. So they're going to see how this works. They're hoping to bring some soap opera fans, some Days of Our Lives fans to Peacock. That's one of the reasons they're doing this. And if that works, it might go on for a long time. They'll be able to have longer episodes, all kinds of things they'd be able to do. If it doesn't work, however, who knows how long it will last on Peacock.
Great perspective. We've been chatting with Syracuse University professor Bob Thompson. Thanks so much for sharing your insight with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.